Robert Eggers. Okay, Robert Eggers. On the tracks of being a genius, he made The Witch and The Lighthouse. I love them both. I think they're both kind of perfect films. The Witch is a bit more small scale, so maybe not a masterpiece, but still a perfect horror film. Fucking great horror film. Fucking love The Witch. The Lighthouse is like everyone says it's a masterpiece, deservedly so. It's fucking surreal, but not in a pretentious way. It's been compared to The Shining. It's visceral, great production design, great acting. Two of the best performances of like that fucking all time. Willem Dafoe, fuck me, just brilliant like folklore, interweaving all of that and all of the different, like the sound of it, the aspect ratio, everything about it is just all directing towards this fucking masterpiece. You know what? Just because of the sheer quality of those only 2 films that he's done, I'm going to give him a premature genius ranking. Ron Howard, you know what? When you think of Ron Howard, I always think of like your typical studio hack, because he came in with the Solo and just did exactly what Disney wanted him to do. The Solo was a inoffensive piece of shit. In 2012, he did Rush, which is a really good film with a lot of flair and an actual decent artistic point to it about like competitiveness, and it is just that stands out as a film. Dilemma with Vince Vaughn, which is some weird drama I watched when I was like 10 or some shit. I don't know what the fuck. Frost Nixon, this is a bit earlier on, but Frost Nixon I watched that like a year ago or something. That's a good film. That is a good film. Fairly like accessible again, but still a decent film. Cinderella Man and Beautiful Mind. Beautiful Mind I'm not so big on, very, kind of wishy-washy. Mum's favourite though, so yeah. Cinderella Man's decent, yeah. I just think he's super inoffensive. He's definitely competent, but the fact that it's just a letdown when like, oh, so you're the guy who just come in for this new Star Wars film and just make it all soft and inoffensive. You're that guy, are you? That's who you want to be. Talented, maybe. Low end of talented. He's kind of a bit like, I just want to put him in hack because he's just a fucking dick. He's like a bit like James Mangold. Should we put him there? Just on the principle, like bends over. For Disney. Rose Glass, she made Saint Maud. I kind of praised it as like a near masterpiece when it came out on that video I made. It's not a masterpiece, it's like a very intriguing horror film, fairly kind of samey to other A24 films. It was an A24 distributed film. Rose Glass is a directorial debut. It's a good directorial debut. Well made, it's just like good. I like the location. It's a very short film, but fairly familiar if you've like watched loads of psychological character studies of the recent years. Fairly familiar, but it's a good film. I think I kind of like fawned over it when it came out. Russo Brothers directed Avengers Endgame, Avengers Infinity War, Captain America Winter Soldier, and Captain America Civil War. So basically they are kind of Marvel's most reliable directors, and they are really good directors. What they did with Infinity War, I think Infinity War is a great film. What they did with Infinity War in terms of balancing all those characters was just a masterstroke, really. That is a impeccable film, and it's quite unique in a lot of ways because it's an amalgamation of 18 films. Great achievement. I would have rather that got nominated for Best Picture than fucking Black Panther, but whatever. Endgame was alright, it was decent, it was fun. They completely revitalised Captain America when they made Winter Soldier, so credit for them to do that. They're definitely good. Artistically, they haven't like made a name for themselves. They've just done a really good job at like helping the Marvel Cinematic Universe stand out a bit more. Less so a franchise, more so like just sick bits of it, it's cool bits of it. Those 4 films that they've done are some of the most like pivotal, important ones to get right. And Marvel knew to rely on them. They also worked a lot on Arrested Development, the original Arrested Development show. They directed episodes, and that is an ensemble cast, and they kind of learn on a small scale how to do ensemble and how to like mix characters and like how to do this and how to do that. And it's like that's really kind of a cool way of looking at it. They also directed episodes of Community. They did like the kind of the ones where they blended the action genre into it, the paintball episode and stuff like that. They're cool guys. I'm gonna put them in talented. There's just bankable. Safdie Brothers. Safdie Brothers directed Good Time in 2017, but more notably Uncut Gems that just came out recently on Netflix, although 2 years ago now probably, but with Adam Sandler. Both are great films, and yeah, they do have a distinct style. Headache-inducing, anxiety-inducing, stressful works of art, but the way it does that is really impressive. Good Time might be my favourite of the 2 just because it's like so simple, but you can see how much they can get across with such a simple, minimalistic plot, and it's just like all these little details, all these things that go wrong. It's like it is the most anxiety-inducing fucking film ever. Uncut Gems was really good. They can still do better. I just hope they just keep going. Make loads of more films. Definitely are to us. Sam Baker. We're almost there, Mr. Frodo. You can see who's at the end as well. Sam Baker directed The Florida Project and Tangerine. Tangerine was shot entirely on an iPhone, which is really impressive. The content of his films are like in the slums of a certain district of an American state like Florida. I think both of them are set in Florida, I'm not sure. He likes to focus in on the dingy aspects of life, the dingy ends. the dodgy end. For instance, Tangerine follows the day-to-day life of transvestite and prostitutes, so it's just like not nice neighbourhoods. The Florida Project is similar. More people have seen the Florida Project though, that's got Willem Dafoe in it. Very good child performers in the Florida Project, but they're very good in terms of getting that realism, and I really like it when certain directors go to that level and capture that level of filth and grime on the lower ends of society. It's kind of, that's like a respect, it's kind of respectful in a lot of ways. But yeah, Sam Baker is definitely someone to look out for. Yeah, I'm going to put him in auteur. Sam Esmail. Okay, so this is Sam Esmail. He is the director of Mr. Robot, the show. Out of all directors of television, he's the most hands-on. So there's 4 seasons of Mr. Robot, and I'm pretty sure for the most part he directed all the episodes, barring like 2 or 3, but that is some hands-on shit. And there are like 10 episodes a season. He blends all these different styles from all these different filmmakers. Mr. Robot, I think, is my favourite show of all time. The first season's very enjoyable and accessible, but is actually technically the weakest season in my opinion. Season 2 slows down and is much less accessible, but I think is better because it's like psychedelic and weird, gets more experimental, becomes more of its own thing. It's not just about like hack a week, like, oh, who's he hacking next, you know. There's so much going on, there's so much attention to detail and kind of the plot as well, and amazing twists. I'm not really a twist guy, but there are some amazing twists in this show, like really fucking profound, and like, anyway, just hitting the right way. And then you look back at the previous season and say, oh yeah, here were the seeds for those twists. He's the best director working in television, maybe besides David Lynch, I guess. But Mr. Robot and like Twin Peaks: The Return are like neck and neck for me in terms of the best shows. It's a very experimental show as well, endlessly creative and trippy, and just, oh my god, and fucking yeah. Ralph the Movie Maker dubbed him one of the first auteur TV directors, and that's a very appropriate. Speaking of TV directors, that's weird, Sam Levinson, who's the director of EUPHORIA, the HBO series that currently only has 1 season out right now, but there's another season coming soon. I review the pilot episode of EUPHORIA in Don't Blame the Pilot podcast. I'll link it in the description. Those guys really good. They were like, we all like kind of loved it. We all like a circle jerk about fucking EUPHORIA in that one, but yeah, that was a fucking sick conversation. Sam Levinson, yeah, so he directed that, and the direction is like, especially for TV, it's like, it's shocking, it's astonishing. HBO are always a good one to go in terms of artistic freedom, artistic license and shit. So Sam Levinson, you know what, and he made a film which wasn't very good, but had some interesting stuff about it, but Malcolm and Marie, he made Malcolm and Marie, which wasn't very good compared to EUPHORIA, but Zendaya in both of those things, like Zendaya was fucking brilliant in Malcolm and Marie, and so was Denzel Washington's son, John David Washington. I thought those two were brilliant in that film. I thought they were amazing, and there's a lot of like preachy shit in there, and there was a lot of stuff. There's makings of a great film, but didn't quite get there, quite kind of just a bit of an extension of the director, unfortunately. But EUPHORIA is fucking brilliant, and he deserves... You know what, I'm going to put him in the auteur one as fuck it. Oh god, there are a lot of Sams. Sam Mendes, okay, Sam Mendes, competent filmmaker. Did Skyfall, did Spectre, did American Beauty back in 1999, most recently did 1917. I can't remember Skyfall, I remember it being good. Spectre wasn't, that was kind of just a bit of a cash grab. So judging him on 1917, which is a well-shot film for the most part, even though by that point the continuous shot thing had been jerked off already enough and I was sick of it. Without that cinematography, it's a very bland war film though, and I'm not sure how much he's responsible for that. But at the moment he's fairly kind of like safe, he's not really doing much challenging, so I'm gonna put him in talented. Okay, now we've got Shane Black. Oh god almighty. Let's move them all back up here for a minute. Most recently known for the Predator remake, which was shit apparently. I didn't watch it again. I only know him for Nice Guys, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, and Iron Man 3, and I liked Iron Man 3, and Nice Guys was really good, but if he's like here or there, he might have been like being on a bit of a downward spiral with fucking making that shit studio movie and making it shit, and apparently it was a bit more on him than it was on the studio, and it was just a bit, I don't fucking care. Why does everything need a remake? He starred in the original Predator. He's definitely talented though, he just needs to redeem himself. He's already done 2 pretty decent films, but maybe it's a bit of a one-trick pony. Spike Lee's great. Spike Lee's fucking great, I think, but judging him for Black Klansman and Defy Bloods, I really like Defy Bloods probably more than Black Klansman. Black Klansman had a lot of going on though as well. He's a great, yeah, fucking Do the Right Thing is fucking brilliant, and She's Gotta Have It. He's one of the best black directors who makes films about like black culture. He's one of the best out there. He's brilliant, and he's going to be remembered. He's one of them. Every now and then he comes back and makes a film. I really like Defy Bloods. Not 100% like accessible, but still really good and really like interesting. I think Spike Lee gets genius tier. Steve McQueen might be at the moment a little bit better than fucking Spike Lee for the black culture and stuff, but he also he doesn't primarily do that, but recently he did a Small Axe, which was like an anthology series of kind of feature-length films about like different historical instances of black victories. Some very good work in there. He's a really good director. Again, he's just like naturalistic and just great performances. And I don't know, as 12 Years a Slave was great and deserved the recognition. Shame is my favourite of his. It's about a sex edition with Michael Fassbender. That's one of my favourite films. That is so well done. Honestly, and Hunger before that, it's like he's not made anything bad. I'm almost actually tempted to put him in fucking... I might put him up there, you know. I might fucking just do it. Yeah, Steve McQueen gets there. Steven Spielberg is a... He's made quite a lot of films this last decade, but the last film that I've seen of his is fucking War Horse, and that wasn't very good. That was bland as shit, and all the others I've just not been compelled to see. He just seems like he's like a fucking studio director. He just doesn't try anymore, and just arbitrarily gets nominated for an Oscar every time he makes a film. It's just fucking shit. And yeah, I've got to say, a bit of a fall from grace. Definitely talented technically, but fucking hell, I'm putting him in bland just because on the principle, I guess. What have you done? Oh, Taika Waititi, a very popular director as well. However, he's not currently utilising his full potential because he's been snatched up by Disney making Star Wars stuff. And What We Do in the Shadows is his best film. It's great. Hunt for the Wilder People is also really good, but not necessarily a decline in quality, I guess, but you know, not as good as What We Do in the Shadows. Thor Ragnarok is his worst film. All of the good parts of that film are from him, but still, it's his worst film objectively. And I'm just a bit annoyed that he's been completely snatched up by Disney and just forced to work for all of them. Like, I guess he's not gonna make any cool films anymore. He's just off with them now. He's made it. He's completely made it. He's a fucking millionaire now, probably. He did do Jojo Rabbit, to be fair, but that was disappointing as well. That wasn't on the same level as his pre-Thor Ragnarok films. That was fairly just kind of didn't really have anything to say about Nazism or anything, did it, or whatever. Like, Inglourious Bastards had already done it. It was just a shit version of Inglourious Bastards, really. Like, you're doing a satirical comedy in that time. It's just like, it didn't have anything important to say and no nuance or anything. It was just kind of basic story. It wasn't like, it was funny. Like, he's a funny guy. He hasn't captured that same energy from What We Do in the Shadows all those years ago. But yeah. Todd Phillips, alright, Todd Phillips. Todd Phillips is not a good director. Joker was elevated chiefly by Joaquin Phoenix's performance. Prior to that, he did the Hangover trilogy and Due Date, all of which are really unfunny comedies that all feel like they're too mature to be in the genre that they are. Like, they don't want to be comedies almost. They want to be mature and artsy, and I don't know. He tried to make serious films out of them, but he failed. And those Hangover films are utterly tone deaf. They do not know what they want to take seriously or what's supposed to be a joke. He kind of sucked at making comedies, actually. And then he's doing serious films. His best film is probably War Dogs. I'm not so big on Joker. Maybe I'll rewatch it soon, but it's not particularly well directed. He's not a really good director at all. I'd say even he borders into the incompetent realm just because of the inconsistent tones of the Hangover films. Like, they are really bad comedies for that. Due Date's the same. And Old School, fucking hell, I was miserable when I was fucking 13 when I watched that. I was a fucking dumb idiot and I still thought it was shit. Yeah, War Dogs was okay, but still fairly like going off the fucking trend that Wolf of Wall Street set. It was like, oh, we're kind of crooked and we're going to make a lot of money and it's going to be really stylistic. Fuck it, he's going incompetent, fuck it. Tom Ford is like a polymath, it seems, because he's like the owner of Gucci or something. He's really successful as a fashion designer as well and all sorts of different things. And he also tried his hand at filmmaking twice, and both of his films are really good. A Single Man is his autobiographical film with Colin Firth. That was really good from memory. It's just very sensitively done, realistically done, you know. It's about a gay guy, you know. It's about a gay guy. You can do it, you don't have to be pandering about it. And he also did Nocturnal Animals, which was one of my favourite films of the given year, and that's like, I really want to rewatch it again, but it's such a unique idea for a film, just like that narrative within a narrative and how it affects people in the real world and their emotions and the reactions. I don't know, and just like, it's such a unique film and such a unique film idea to come from someone who's like a complete expert in this completely different medium and completely different industry. It is mental and it's like so commendable. I'm not sure when his next film will be, but he could very well be on track for an auteur. But I want to put him as an auteur just because he just strolled in, fucking made Nocturnal Animals, and that is no ordinary film. That is like got really good performances from all of those like world-class actors. It's mental and it's unique and it stands out and it sticks in your memory and it's disturbing as well. It's like, fucking hell, this guy's not fucking about. So I kind of just, in terms of respect, I'll put him there. Oh, we're almost fucking done. Trey Edward Shults. I really like Trey Edward Shults. He directed Waves, he directed It Comes at Night, and he directed Krisha, and all of which are really good films. Krisha's a really sad film. Waves is a really, really emotional film, really sad film. And so is It Comes at Night in a lot of ways. It Comes at Night was a psychological thriller marketed as like a horror film, like a atypical horror film where fucking like monsters come out of the woods, and because people expected a horror film like that, and they saw it and it was just kind of like a slow-paced claustrophobic thriller about a family, they were like, oh, it's just shit. But really, it's a really good film, and it's all down to his unique directing. And I did appreciate It Comes at Night a lot when it came out, but then Waves was what made me fall in love with Trey Shults, because that is just nothing but drama. Like, on paper, it's very melodramatic, but he just elevates it to living shit. It's just a great example of a director elevating the material, because for a lot of people, it was melodramatic, but it wasn't for me. It was just like so sincere and just so much emotions, and brilliant fucking soundtrack. Brilliant use of a certain Tame Impala track as well in the beginning. Fucking hell, that was amazing. Yeah, it looks gorgeous. I think it's wide angle lens, a great use of it. Great colouring. Obviously a lot of blues because of the waves and stuff. But yeah, I really like that film. It really stuck with me. That's going to be like my favourites for a long time. So I'm going to put him in... Is he there? Yeah, fuck it, he's also, because Krisha was a banger as well. He made 3, fuck it. And this is... I know my ruling's a bit inconsistent, but fuck it. Vince Gilligan is definitely an auteur. He's another example of auteur filmmakers within the TV genre. Fucking Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad, you know, that's 2 big swings and 2 big hits. Or 2 shows like that. Like, Better Call Saul stands on its own completely. That is a really fucking good show. That is like one of the best lawyer shows ever. That's fucking brilliant. In a lot of ways, you start to appreciate Better Call Saul more than Breaking Bad. It's fucking weird. But yeah, he's just a fucking brilliant guy. So creative. So good at like creating drama and shooting it in his own way, and it's like likes to zoom in on small details. So good at like setting the stage for the conflicts in the episodes in each series, and like all these little details that come to fruition. He's just a fucking great, awesome guy, and with a distinct style, and made 2 of the best TV shows ever made. And also, on plot, El Camino wasn't very impressive, but his directing was like the best part about it. And, you know, it was kind of an extended episode. It wasn't necessary, but, you know, it's always... He was a good director. He's a good director, obviously, you know. So he goes in as an auteur. Wes Anderson, the only W. Well, Wes Anderson, I can understand why people like him, and there are a lot of films that he's done that I really do like, but I still find his style irritating, only because he reuses it so often. If it was like the one-off where it was like Grand Budapest and Moonrise Kingdom where it works the best, it would be a different story, but because it's like in every single fucking film of his, I couldn't have like a Wes Anderson binge. I always have to space them out, but I really like Grand Budapest and Moonrise Kingdom. Moonrise Kingdom is a fairly flawless film, and so is Grand Budapest. I also like Fantastic Mr. Fox as well. Some great use of Beach Boys songs in that. Yeah, I'm very conflicted, but he's not on the auteur level for me. I'm really not interested in French Dispatch because it just looks like the same shit. It'll probably be competently made, but like, fuck, he just needs to make something different. He needs to make something really like mature and fucked up or something. I don't know. All he does is the same fucking quirky shit, and it's been doing the same thing for fucking all his career. So I'm gonna put him in remarkable. Because to be fair, I mean, to have this level of symmetry he does go to is fucking bonkers, but he could be a lot better. I think a lot of people hold him in much higher standard to that, so it's going to be a big shocker. Yorgos Lanthimos! Yorgos Lanthimos is one of the best contemporary directors. He's made 4 really good films that I've seen. Dogtooth was quite earlier. More recently was The Lobster in 2013, then Killing of a Sacred Deer in 2017, then The Favourite, I think, 2018. Or maybe 90, I'm not sure. I rewatched The Lobster and Killing of a Sacred Deer recently. They're really strong films. He is compared to Kubrick in terms of style, and that's fairly justified because he does have that grandiose style to depicting certain things using classical music. His films look very nice aesthetically as well, and not just derivative of Kubrick, but in his own little way. They have very strong and meaningful subtext. I think my favourite of his is Killing of a Sacred Deer, because just on presentation level, it's so effective, and it's really sinister and creepy, and it doesn't really need to be about anything, it's just good on its own. But both The Lobster and The Killing of a Sacred Deer, because I haven't seen The Favourite yet. Favourites from memory are really good as well, obviously, but I'm looking forward to rewatching it. I really like him as a director. Both Killing of a Sacred Deer and The Lobster, like, I'm ready to like name those 2 films like masterpieces, because they have all of the makings of a masterpiece, but there's just something about them. I just think they linger on for a little bit more than they should at the end, but they're so close to being masterpieces. Like, I gave fucking Killing of a Sacred Deer 5 stars on Letterboxd, if that means anything. But yeah, I really like him as a director, so I'm putting him in auteur. Watois. Could very well be a genius one day. Bello. Yeah, here we go. Fucking Zack Snyder. Infamous Zack Snyder. You all knew he was coming because he was a big Z. Everyone knows Zack Snyder, a lot of people. He's a famous director, but maybe for the wrong reasons. Anyway, I think Zack Snyder is a less self-aware Michael Bay with a bit more style, but his style is so surface level. It's just always lightning and like big Herculean shots and like gods and stuff, and it's all just obvious and no layers to it. It's all done with computer effects as well. You can't do any of it like practically. Unlike Michael Bay, he's got a cult following. People see him as an artist because his films do try to be about something else, but they completely fail because they're manipulative. They try to be deep, but like you just can't convey real emotion. He's more obsessed with like being profound, just the idea of being profound, and he doesn't doesn't work on the characters. He doesn't put the work in from the ground level. He doesn't like grow it from a seed. He just tries to like, come on, this has got to be profound, please. You know, he doesn't start from anywhere sincere. He's called Zack Snyder for a reason. I think this fucking bracket is literally, might as well be called Zack Snyder tier. He's the atypical hack at the moment. He's full of shit. His real life's been horrible. Like, it's some real horrible tragedy happened to him. It's weird being critical of someone like this because of what he's been through. But we're talking purely on a filmmaking basis. He is just exploitative and like kind of jerks you off just to like, oh come on, yeah, you like this. Just the most transparent attempts to evoke emotion out of the audience. And honestly, I don't think his fans are that screwed on emotionally. I think they're just very easy to manipulate teenagers, like the fucking girls who like see these posts where it's like she believed and it's really like he lied. Honestly, it's like that level of profundity. So I don't respect him. So yeah, he goes in hack tier, unfortunately. Zack Snyder, Hack Snyder. And that's the last director. Oh, fucking hell. And it's been a long day. I've still got a bit of pizza to finish. But anyway, let's just do an overview. If you've got this far, thanks so much for watching. I'll literally kiss you. I believe we have 100 directors altogether, not counting director duos. The proportions are vast. We have a good distribution of talented people, you know. It's like we don't have as much hacks, maybe because like a lot of the hacky films are made by no-name douchebags anyway. But most of the prominent directors are noble, or of noble intent when they make films. We have 4 directors in the hack tier: Guy Ritchie, Tommy Wiseau, Michael Bay, and Zack Snyder. I'm fine with all them. I do not like their films. Guy Ritchie probably makes the best films out of the 4, but still, it's a bit weird having Guy Ritchie there, but he did sell out and he is a very style over substance. I know that's weird to say from a guy who's like, ooh, artistic style. But then we have Incompetent tier, which has the least amount of people, just 2. M. Night Shyamalan, not like much of a sellout enough to be a hack, but still very incompetent, we all know. Todd Phillips, I guess is in a lot of ways a hack, but at least he's trying to make profound stuff, but fails miserably in my opinion. On tier bland we have a lot more. Fucking hell. We have Adam McKay, Ava DuVernay, Chloe Zhou, Clint Eastwood, David Ayer, Gareth Davis, James Mangold, J.J. Abrams, John Watts, Matt Reeves, Mel Gibson, Patty Jenkins, Ron Howard, Steven Spielberg. On talented, we have Aaron Sorkin, Alex Garland, Andrew Stanton, Bo Burnham, Bryan Singer, David F. Sandberg, David Lowery, Donald Glover, Gareth Edwards, Greta Gerwig, Ilan Ashula, Jim Cummings, Joe Cornish, John Lasseter, Jonah Hill, Joss Whedon, Judd Apatow, Matthew Vaughn, Michelangelo Covino, Mike Flanagan, Paul Schrader, Pete Docter, Ridley Scott, Rose Glass, the Russo brothers, Sam Mendes, Shane Black, Taika Waititi. On the remarkable tier we have Barry Jenkins, Brad Bird, Celine Sciamma, Chang Dong Lee, Christopher Nolan, David Robert Mitchell, Harmony Korine, Hirokazu Koreeda, James Gunn, Jordan Peele, Ken Loach, Luca Guadagnino, Martin McDonough, Noah Baumbach, Panos Cosmatos, Ryan Johnson, Wes Anderson. Moving up to the auteur level, we have Alejandro Jodorowsky, Alejandro Gonzalez Inarritu, Alfonso Cuarón, Ari Aster, Bong Joon-ho, the Coen brothers, Damien Chazelle, Danny Boyle, Darren Aronofsky, Denis Villeneuve, Gaspar Noé, George Miller, Guillermo del Toro, Lars von Trier, Lynn Ramsey, Martin Scorsese, Nicholas Winding Refn, the Safdie Brothers, Sam Baker, Sam Esmail, Spike Lee, Sam Levinson, Tom Ford, Trey Edward Shults, Vince Gilligan, Yorgos Lanthimos. And on the genius tier, we have 9 fucking geniuses. That's a cool round number. I don't know, it's not round, but that's a nice number, like 9. The 9 elites. So yeah, this is official. You can't argue with this, apparently. Who fucking knows, anyway. On Genius tier, we have Charlie Kaufman, David Fincher, David Lynch, Edgar Wright, Michael Haneke, Paul Thomas Anderson, Quentin Tarantino, Robert Eggers, and Steve McQueen. And obviously, this isn't set in stone. This is not my definitive opinion. I was just having fun trying to figuring it out as I was going along. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed, because this is kind of going to be a huge fucking video. I don't know what's going to happen, if it's going to be in parts. Don't know what it's going to look like when it's cut down. But I hope it's fucking good. I hope you've had a good time. I'm going to finish this pizza in a minute before it gets too cold. Oh, this hasn't been that bad because, it's not like selling out to the algorithm, because it's a tier list, it's a fairly broad thing, you can talk about whatever really, and I think I've talked quite extensively about these fucking directors. Jesus Christ, I started when it was like 3 o'clock and it's 9 o'clock. I need to walk the dog. Anyway, it's been Bad Show. Thanks very much for watching. I hope it's been fucking sick. I hope it's been the best fucking video in the world for all this fucking time I've been here. Yeah, it's been cool. But yeah, hopefully everything worked. Anyway, farewell guys, and always remember, never stop masturbating.